Welcome back to Career Build Series. This is episode number 106. And so I join you from our own private island here. So last episode went ahead and bought this island. So it's a pretty cool island here. If we go ahead and we look around it here, we have a place to build on top. We also can build in the center. We also have a cave under there. And we can launch a ship as big as Triton. So one of the issues with trying to launch Triton, which for those who have not watched the previous build series, it is a large home ship, and that allows me to fly helicopters off of it. That allows me to have some rescue boats and do some container work with the ship itself. So it's a very utilitarian multi-purpose ship, and it's a home away from home. So I really want to get that in game. The issue is this: the home ship is about $460,000 to $489,000, I believe, to spawn. Plus, it holds like 170,000 liters of diesel. So it is quite thirsty. It is definitely an end game piece of equipment. And so we have a drilling operation going on here, which pretty much gives us as much fuel as we want. That's our big money center. We also have 25,000 liters of jet fuel sitting here at FJ, and 52,000 liters of diesel. So we have a good diesel production here. Also moved some fuel up to Draymore there, so we have a good bit of jet fuel and a little bit of diesel. If we look up here, I presently own the military base up here, and so this allows me to be able to pretty easily sell jet fuel for $6 a liter. I can fly up here or head up by ship, but I can fly up here and I can deposit a considerable amount of jet fuel into the base, and then what I can actually do is spawn it over here and use a little bit of a pipe, or a hose rather, and sell the jet fuel so pretty efficiently. So I think that's what we're going to do. I want to start grinding and getting some money. This new home base and the desire to bring out Triton again has really kind of solidify where I need to go here, and money is the answer. So let's go ahead and we'll get started with that. So have the night owl here, and we're going to head away, and I want to go down to FJ and get the Albatross out and grab some fuel. So we'll go ahead, start the APU up, start the engines up. So spinning one. There we go. Alright, we're spun up now. Let's shut the APU off. Gens are coming on. We'll leave that other battery off. That's fine. Go ahead and do nav lights, strobes, taxi, landing. And we should be good to go here. So let's go ahead and we'll get set up for flight. So we want to go down to FJ, and that's going to allow us to be able to go get all this fuel that I have. So we'll just mark the... We'll set up an approach here, so we'll come into runway 7. So let's go right about there. Alright, altitude is going to be 2,000, that's fine. So let's do heading, altitude, let's go spool up the engines. And autopilot's coming on. And there we go. Positive rate gear is coming up. And we'll start to put in some ducted fan. Alright, now we'll go nav, GPS, heading hold, and we'll turn towards FJ. So, the devs fixed a bug with some aerodynamic bug, and now we are getting a little bit faster speeds. So we're up around 261 now, which is really nice. It's nice to have such a fast craft for doing some of these rescues and stuff, especially those can be quite time critical. If you have a rescue that has a really bad fire, it's imperative to get out there quickly in order to put the fire out before all the people die. So that is nice. So again, plan is to head down to FJ. We'll pull out the Albatross. Did just a little bit of decorating work on the Albatross, and we can take out 5 of the jet fuel containers. They hold about 2,200 plus liters apiece, plus the Albatross holds a considerable amount of jet fuel itself. And then what we'll do is we'll put it in the base itself, and that will allow me to be able to not sell all of the jet fuel, but have quite a bit there. So if I want to, operate out of the military base, I can. Military base is actually pretty convenient. It doesn't have a place to spawn a boat, but you can dock one there, and you can also spawn some aircraft out of the hangar. Plus, there's a hospital there, so that's quite a useful base. So, did a live stream the other day, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a live career build series. And so all I did was actually save this particular game of the career build series, and we're going to do that live every once in a while. So sometimes when I'm playing live, I will do that version of the save, and that kind of give myself as much money as I want, kind of do, talk to the community and see if what you guys are feeling and what you'd like to happen in that. So that's a little bit more interactive. I can kind of go over the chat as I'm doing some missions. If the chat wants me to do a certain type of mission, you guys can let me know. And then we'll have this, of course, where I kind of just do my own thing here. So coming up pretty quick here at 262 knots. The distance is so short, we're getting in there pretty quick. So we can just about see FJ right there. So I'm going to go ahead and take the autopilot off, and I'm going to retrim. So just a little bit of retrimming here. There we go. And it's coming up there. We can see it off of about our 11 o'clock. So start to bring the ducted fan back here and slow down just a little bit. We don't need to slam the brakes all that much, but I might do a vertical landing. I don't know. We'll figure it out when I get in there. The aircraft's a little bit sensitive for me. I might want to try to dull this down, like its pitch sensitivity is a little bit high. So we have a lot of fuel sitting there. That is all refined. So this runs the entire time I'm gone. If I can get my binoculars up here in time, you can even see the pump jack. I did that pump jack tutorial. You can see that going. That's also refining the entire time. So it has a considerable amount of refined fuel on it. I think it holds like something like 114,000 liters of refined fuel. Each type of fuel, jet fuel and diesel, and then it holds about double that in oil. So as I take those, it's automatically will fill back up. So and there we go. I can just press the space bar, and that will zero out the ducted fans and help me slow right down. Just takes a little second for the vertical rotors to clutch in, and once those are clutched in, I get a little more control. But I have a little bit too much pitch sensitivity on here, so I might need to cut that down just a little bit. But Night Owl is working really well. Pretty versatile craft at the moment, so I'm enjoying this craft a lot. Really works very well. And one of the reasons I want to build this also was to get some modules going for VTOLs. So if I, or when I make VTOLs in the future, they're a little bit quicker and easier to make. So try to not make a mess of this here. So I have the gyro off. I'm just flying without the gyro on. It's connected, but it's not on. If I do AP, we'll turn that on. So let's start going down here on the thrust, and we shut our two engines off. Beautiful. All right, and we'll do a full shutdown here. We're going to leave this here so we can just shut everything down. There we go. All right, fully shut down here. And last episode, went out and used this tank to fight a fire. So if you have not seen that episode, that would be the last one. Go ahead and check that out. So that was a lot of fun to do that. All right, so let's recall this vehicle here. And we'll grab the latest Albatross. All right, and I want to put in all of these jet fuel containers. So they're pallets, and here they are, jet fuel, Jet A pallets. And so I can fit 5 of these in the Albatross, so that is really convenient. This thing has large capacity, which is really very convenient. And so we'll go ahead, and I just want to verify these are set correctly. So the pallet locks should be, I want to start them on, so I'm going to change this. I keep forgetting to do it, but this will start with the locks on, so they lock to the tracks. So, all right, now we can copy these and just start placing them. So I'm just going to place them in. I could drag them in, but often the vehicles will slide around in the hangar, especially in the spawn area. And so, it's just more work. Eventually, I want to make a forklift so that I actually have to load these with a forklift. I'm trying to do more of that ground handling. I just haven't gotten there yet. So That'd be kind of cool on a live stream to that. All right, so these are all should be locked to the tracks. They don't have spawners. I should put that in before I started going here, but it's not the end of the world. So stick that in there. And that's jet. Yeah, let's copy that one. Just copying them instead of repasting them. It might be just equally as quick to repaste them. But I think that's what I'll end up actually doing is we'll just plant them because I have to go in and have to change them to jet fuel if I don't do it this way. So just put spawners in here, change them all to jet. So should have done that with the first one, but jet. Okay, good. And so this is just kind of a quick and easy way to get this going here. I often will fill them as well, so just doing this for a little bit of expediency here to have them all set up. But this is a good way to move fuel around. You know, of course, thematically it would make more sense to do it with as a ship or with a ship, but it's not a big deal just to do it this way either. So did a little bit of paint work on here, very subtle paint work. I darkened the bottom there, and then this next level is darker, and then the top is even lighter. So just a little bit of paint depth. You can do that kind of just gentle shading, like you can see the colors are a little bit different. Kind of gives some shadow of the top where the light would be hitting the most is the lightest, and then, you know, darker and darker still at the bottom. And then I do a little bit of color difference on the doors so you can see where they are. Go ahead and jump up into Albatross. Albatross is very utilitarian. It's very helpful for a lot of things I want to do. Oh, I accidentally painted some seats. You fix those later. Not going to bother now. I must have color swapped, yeah, something out on the seats. All right, so battery 1's coming on. Power connect is on. APU is up. Beacon is on. Fuel valve 1 and starting. Go ahead and altitude of 2,000. Heading of runway heading 072. There we go. Number 2 spooling up. Flaps are going 01. Altitude heading. 2 spooling up. There we go. 2. Rolling on 3. Three is up. And we'll spool 4. Alright, those are all spooled up. I'm just going to quickly grab so the new bearing panel is based off of GPS. And so the old system used to be all radio, but I had issues with that in the game. So this still works pretty well as a radio. It's just they're pre-programmed, so it's kind of a little bit more faked now. So I still can put in the radio frequency, and when I go back and I select radio, that will give me the bearing. So we're 14 nautical miles away from the military base. Brakes coming off, and let's taxi on out. So I'm just going to go third person just to make sure this, you know, the vehicles tend to slide in the actual spawn areas, so I want to make sure I clear the wings here as I come out. Not good. So we'll go ahead, taxi out, and we can do an intersection departure. But the Albatross is very versatile. I can take a bunch of my cars in here and my mini truck. Did a bunch of work on mini truck and some live streams where I made a ground power unit, so just a little generator that's going to be useful for different things. A firefighting module, you know, so it has quite a bit of utility as well. I want to make a version of that that's like a little van for rescues. So. All right, power set. I was trying to just get some lights on here. There we go. Airspeed's alive. V1, rotate. Positive rate, gears coming up. So you do positive rate off the VSI. Alright. Speeding up a little bit here. Autopilot is on. And we'll go ahead and we will head to the military island right now. After landing checklist, flaps are coming up. Lights are coming off. And my generators should be all on. There we go, generators on. Perfect. And so we take, we bring about 16,000 pounds of fuel with us each side. So we have the port and starboard side. So we take about 32,000 pounds plus with us. And so we hold quite a bit in the cargo area, but we also hold a lot in our tanks. So for example, when I leave FJ, I like to leave with full tanks and then go deposit it where I'm headed, and then that's going to stay in the base. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to go there at max speed. So I'm going to start bringing the prop back, and this prop setting here is our max speed. So as you can see, 208. So we have a reasonably high RPM here. I'm running RPMs, but if you look, we're 829 divided by 60, so that's a 13.8 RPS. That's 4 jet turbines running that, so it's pretty fuel hungry. But, you know, we're doing all right on that, so it's not a huge deal. I can bring it way back, which I will do. And this is going to be much more fuel efficient. So as I've talked about this before, how the constant speed propellers work IRL and how they work in my craft. But essentially, as you're increasing the blade pitch, I want a lower RPM on my engines. And they're PID controlled IRL. They'd be controlled by flyweights. And so we set our prop, and as you can see, we can get very, very low RPM. We lose about 30% of our speed, but we're also losing about 70% of our fuel burn. So we take a hit of 30% of our speed, but we're taking a 70% hit on how much fuel we're using. So this saves us a huge amount of cash, and it really doesn't take all that much longer to get there. It'll take 30% longer to get there, but we're saving a 70% of the fuel that it would cost us to get there. So it's definitely worth doing this. All right, so I will go ahead and I will time lapse you guys out, and I will see you when we get there. So this is the hospital island right there. That is beginner island right off the side. You probably could see it there as we were coming in. That 3-island chain there. The largest one is military, so we're going to go ahead and take the autopilot off now. We're going to start putting our prop full forward again for landing, as you want low pitch, high RPM for landing and takeoff. As you can see, that's going to knock our speed up as we're reducing the load in the engines. We're looking there. As you can see, we're coming around. There's start to come in the tower. The runway, we have one coming this direction. So that's the runway we're going to land on. And I'm going to start bringing the power back. So here comes the power back as my pitch is full forward now. Power is coming back. Landing gear is going to come down. Landing gear is coming down. Flaps are going to go all the way in. Keep them in while we're at high power. All that extra lift, we're going to have to retrim. So pretty well aligned on the runway already. Just need to get some power here. We're getting slow. There we go. So I haven't set up my airspeed gauges yet. I have to do that. I have to tune them in. These are Basilicious gauges again. You can go in there and just with some property menus, you can set up where the indications are. So that's great. All right. So there's the runway right there. Runway's in sight. And I don't want to get really that slow. Let's go in around 70 knots. Pretty good. I can get all the way down to 60, fine, but the extra airflow gives me a little bit more control, so I want that. All right, so do a landing checklist. Lights are coming on here. Landing gear is down 3 green. Flaps are set. Lights are set. Prop is set. Landing checklist is complete. So landing checklist complete, and we're in line for the runway here. So there's the runway, 12 o'clock. So it's runway 3, I believe. And we'll do one final gear check right before we touch down. That's pretty typical. You'll see pilots do is right as they're about to touch down, they verify that they have 3 green lights for the landing gear, so that if you need to, you can go around before landing on the belly. Alright, we're getting a little slow as I pitch my nose up. We're getting a little low. I need to correct with some thrust. I also need to correct with some pitch. Every time you make a pitch, power, or configuration change, you need to retrim. So you'll notice I'm constantly retrimming. That's realistic. I think a lot of people don't think that that's something you have to do. They kind of are used to arcadey games where, you know, they pitch in any attitude and it takes over. That is fiction. IRL, your pitch trim is constantly going. You're constantly trimming. As you pitch your nose up, as you can see, we lose speed. We need to add power, but I'm at a good power, so I don't need to really worry about it. As I pitch my nose down, you'll notice we gain speed. We need to decrease. So these are all things kind of take for granted. You know, doing this for a while, just kind of know what to do. You know, as you're gonna pitch your nose up, you add a little power. You're gonna drop your nose down, you reduce a little bit of power. But as you can see, we're coming in at 70. I'm gonna fly it all the way to the ground. Let's verify parking brake is off. Landing gear is down 3 green. We're clear to land. I don't want to dump the nose at the end here. I want to come in and I keep my aim point correct. So right there, we're good. And I'm not going to do a big flare, and I don't chop the power. That is what you do in tiny planes. Big planes, you power all the way to the ground. There we go. Power's off. And we're going to go all the way into reverse. So we'll look for our reverse light. So we'll get it in a second here. I have not touched the brakes at all. So there's beta, there's reverse, back into beta. So beta is just flat blades. And we'll taxi off at the end here. So. And for fuel savings, we're going to go ahead and I will shut off 1 and I will shut off 4. So there's no need, we don't need 4 engines to taxi on the ground. So we shut those off. That's something you do a lot IRL as well. For example, we used to, when we'd exit the runway, we'd have to wait a minute until after we would touch down. So as soon as we would, had stopped, we would both click we have little stopwatch buttons on the yoke. And we click the stopwatch button. There's a stopwatch in front of you. And you would time for a minute. Once it's a minute, the engine is cooled down and you can end spooled down. And you can go ahead and shut it down. So what I'm going to do here is, as you can see, we have plenty of turning distance. A little bit hard to see, but that's how it is in real life. You start getting a perception of where your nose is. Like, if I look right here, it looks like there's nothing in front of me but green, right? But if I go out, I know that, what's that, 100 feet? Nah, not quite that. Maybe 50 feet in front of me. So I know there's 50 feet from where my wheel is, or from where my nose is, to where I can actually see. So I know that that's 50 feet, and I can look to my peripheral and realize, okay, we're here, that's 50 feet, we have enough space. So that's how you do it in real life with perception. You know, you don't need a bubble canopy for everything, you just kind of need to learn the perception of it. Wingtips, IRL, you would not probably on a plane like this be able to see your wingtips. And so we don't expect to see our wingtips either. But we can look at the width of the taxiway up here and kind of estimate where our wingtips are. I'm going to have to go open up this hangar. So actually, you know what would be kind of cool? Let me stop here. Brakes, 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 brakes. And I'm going to put us in beta here really quick. There we go, beta. And I will go ahead and lock the parking brake on. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and we'll shut down 2 and 3. I need to fix that. All right, good. So that's coming down. I left the APU on. Not a big deal. It burns diesel and very little diesel at that. So lights are coming off. Flaps should be coming up. You do that as you get to the runway. An airplane like this, especially the size, would have multiple pilots. You'd have a captain or first officer. And so because of that, you would likely have one of the, the pilot not flying. You know, you alternate duties, who's flying, who's not flying. The pilot not flying would generally actually in the planes I've flown, the first officer would shut down the engine because the captain has a tiller on their side, and with that tiller, they can more easily steer. All right, so what we'll actually do here for a bit of fun is let's go in here. I believe I bought this already. This should be mine. Let me just double check. It is, okay. Just the doors were shut. And so let's go ahead and grab the tug. I have an airport tug. And so here's the airport tug, and let's grab the tow bar. A little bit of fun. I like doing this every once in a while, kind of having a, going in there and actually doing some of this ground handling is a lot of fun, I find. So we'll tow bar this in. And I think we have everything we need, so let's spawn that in. All right, so this is just a little bit of fun here, actually using a tug to bring the craft in. So that grabbed, as you can see. And then I need a wire cable. I don't think I have it. Let me see. Did I forget it? I did forget it. I thought there might have been one on here, but there isn't. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on infinite electricity here. I just have to hook a wire there, a cable. I could put electricity through the tow bar as well, which I should probably just do that. And then see that. Yep, mag all there. All right, good. So let's go ahead, start this up. So trying to remember where everything is. I think my power's there. There we go. Haven't used this in a while. Not this reverse. There we go. Parking brake. So this, I think, has an does this have an automatic gearbox? It might. Becoming quite known for not liking automatics. I really don't like automatic anything, really. This isn't too bad, but I like to be, I'm a born equipment operator. That's always what I've done. That's always what I've loved, and so it's much more engaging to operate the equipment, and shifting is part of that. Is modulating your speed, being in control of your craft by shifting gears when you want to. That in bigger, like say trucks, it's very important to shift your speed to be able to shift gears to maintain a certain speed. There we go. That is connected. Let's go in reverse. I think I put the parking brake on. I certainly put the parking brake on. All right, so let's go get that parking brake off. Let's actually set the brake on this because there we go. I will. That's already revved up. So if you hear a little revving noise, that is the APU of this craft building up electricity because we're burning electricity, or we're using electricity. We're not burning anything. Parking brake is now off, and we're ready to taxi or tug this in. All right, so let's go ahead, and we should be good now. So take the brake off, and we're in reverse. And you don't want to be tugging these things very fast. You want to go slow. You want to take your time. I think it's just two-wheel drive too. I might have to upgrade this tug at some point, but you don't need or want to be moving these things quickly. This is how you cause damage, is by going quickly. IRL, you want to tug very slowly. You don't want to break the nose wheel off. They have done that before. If somebody forgets the brake and the tug starts pulling hard on an aircraft, they'll rip the nose gear right off. And so it's better just to take your time. So the spawn area here, I think, oh, there we go. We disconnected. I hit the wall there. Let's see if I can pick it up. I'm going to slam the parking brake on. Let's see if that's in the spawn area. The spawn area is right there. I want to grab it. So let's quickly, I'm going to save. There we go. All right, and let's grab this. Bingo. All right, good. So this is in now. This should give us buku fuel. So let's go ahead and we'll despawn that. Nice. So right there is the spawn area. This base can be a little bit deceptive. When you spawn stuff, it goes to this end of the hangar. So you have to keep that in mind because, if you tow it here, it will not despawn that. So, but that's a little bit more fun. I like using these ground handling vehicles. One of the reasons I built the mini truck was so that we would be able to do things like hook up ground power, actually go and run and get fuel for things and refuel. It's going to have a pumping module for refueling. So, a little bit more fun and a little bit of extra equipment, I think, is always entertaining to me. It's, reminds me back when I was a kid in a sandbox, and having all my trucks and front end loaders and all playing with everything. So, all right, so let's go ahead and look at the map. And we should have buku fuel in here. So let's look. As you can see, we have 29,288 liters of jet fuel. So we had about 16,000 liters in the Albatross itself, plus another 11 in the cargo bay, so that makes perfect sense. And so as you can see, that's a considerable amount of jet fuel here. So let's go ahead. I built something for this, but I think let's take a look at it. Cart. I usually use this electric cart for everything. I just build stuff and stick it on there. I think what I want to do, though, is we have that mini truck. Let's work on that a little bit. So we have a mini truck here, and we have some modules. So what I'm going to do here is if we look here, I have the mini truck module template. So if I use this template will fit right inside of the footprint that we need. And so there's something pretty cool with this base. The fuel pumps are close to the sell point, so we can actually sell from our fuel pumps and pump directly, but we need to be able to reach it. So we need the length to be able to do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with a winch. And so this large winch here, it has, if we look right there, 150 meters. That should be plenty to be able to reach where we're going. And then we can go an additional 40 just walking. So that's about 190 meters we can go from this. And so let's start with that. And what color do I want this to be? Let's just do our pat yellow for now. We'll go like that. Let's see. Let's go up a little bit here. I think that was fine where it was. Let's put it actually back down. All right, there we go. That's good. And then, so under here, I can work on this frame a little bit. Right there is where the pump is, or where the pipe goes. So let's go ahead and we'll grab a corner piece, a little bit of building in the build series here. And we'll do another corner piece here. Beautiful. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of have to do that. Let's do a hose anchor like this. Beautiful. And then what I'll do is I will go rope logic from here to here. That will just give us one hose that's already pre-connected. Electricity is going to go from this hard point to the winch, which will then control that fine. I'm just going to make it super simple for now. I will make this more elegant later. So we'll just do 2 toggle buttons. 1 and 2. This will control up and down. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking how the side rails of this mini truck are going to be, but I think this works fine. So this will be up. This will be down. Always best to label your buttons. So up. We'll do out and in. Out and in. So these are toggles that will just let us run it, and then we can manually connect to there. So this should allow us to put fuel right through. So that's pretty good there. All right, so let's go ahead and save this. So this will be the mini truck pumping module. All right, so this is cool. I like having this modular stuff. It's a lot of fun. And then so we'll load up the mini truck. There it is, and then we'll grab the module since we're staying close. And as you can see, that plugs right in. So this is set up so that it's right where it's supposed to be, so that I don't have to move it. And then I'm just going to verify this here is the connection. As you can see, this has electricity going to our relay. So this will pass electricity from the truck into this system here. Perfect. All right, so all this fuel is in the base. And so any of the pump systems that, I forgot this is right-hand drive. So any of the pump systems, will have all that fuel. So kind of cool, this base. Is one of the reasons why we bought this base, was it is very helpful for when I need to be able to go and sell some jet. So, so this gives me a reason to have these little vehicles like this, which is a lot of fun. So I did a regearing of this. This is now a 6-speed. It is a 5-speed with an overdrive, essentially. So what an overdrive essentially is, if you don't know what that is. So when this is in 5th gear, it will go up to about 32 miles an hour. You know, the real mini trucks, the all-wheel drives, which this is, the four-wheel drives, they go about, I'd say 40 at most, around 40, this era of mini truck. And the two wheels would go faster. They're not really designed for highway use. They're designed for going around cities and being compact and small. And so that's the whole point of them. And so this isn't super duper fast. And so in fifth, but it's realistic. And so in fifth gear, it goes about 35, but it's revving at very high revs. So not only is it loud, it makes a lot of heat. Not that we have to worry about that really, but it also burns. Oh, I jumped the gap a little bit there. It also burns more fuel. And so when you put it into sixth, it's a lower gear ratio. We still get 32 miles an hour, but we're burning a lot less fuel. We're making a lot less noise. And we're making a lot less heat, which, IRL heat would be wear and tear, but we don't have to worry about it in the game very much. So let's go ahead and we will grab this fluid hanker here. We want to go to the Jet A. As you can see, 29,000. We want to pump it out. We'll go there, and I'll grab this next hose anchor. And we'll let some slack out. And we'll just pull ahead slowly. If I drive too fast in the slack, I don't want this to turn me over. So as you can see, we're starting to pull up our slack there. And we'll just go to the left side of this here, right there. Beautiful. All right, we'll put the brake back on, and we'll jump out. And I'll stop that. So beautiful. All right, so we'll go ahead and hook up to this anchor. We'll turn on the pump system here, and we'll plug it in. And let's check our money here. And as you can see, we're growing in money. So pretty simple system there. I have I'll draw this in a little bit so that we can see the hose, but hose are just looped underneath. But as you can see, all our fuel is sitting there. Let's get that hose up. There we go. And it's drawing directly from there. It's pumping through. We don't need any pumps on this. We just need the winch so that we can get that long reach there, and then we're selling. So we're going to go ahead and sell. It's okay if we sell all of the... Let's see. Do I want to sell all of it? Probably not. So I have to kind of keep an eye on it. I don't want to sell every bit of jet fuel there, but as you can see, we're down about 2,000 liters. Actually, you know what? Let's sell everything. We have 4,822 liters of diesel. So we have some diesel we can get out of here with that. But this would be a cool thing if the devs would start. For example, this is a cool dock, has multiple pumps here. It would be cool if we could spawn some ships here. But I'm going to go ahead and I will sell this fuel offline. Next episode, we'll see where we're at. But this should give us a bunch. So, if we do some quick calculations, it's $6 per liter. So it was 29,000 liters times 6. That is $174,000. So that should put us well up from where we were. And not too many of these trips is going to get us to the point where we can start bringing Triton in. I also want to spend quite a bit of money, so I'm really excited about getting back to the career build series here. That live career build series I'm going to be doing on some of my live streams. But that was really inspiring to me again, got me excited to play the game some more. Getting Triton back in. Triton is a lot of fun. And so we'll be able to outfit this island here. We can build actually 3 bases. We can build a stationary vehicle here, which a house essentially. We could build something up here. We can build something in the tunnel underneath this. And so I'm thinking like a helipad on top, maybe a living area here, and then maybe something in around the dock area here. And then we can spawn Triton. Triton is a big money burner, but it is great late game fun. For example, we can put 5 containers on Triton, go do some container missions. We can do rescues and operate all of the parasite craft. That should be a lot of fun, and this is really motivating me to get some of this money. I talk about how if you have too much money, that can lead to boredom, and so this sort of thing, when I have something expensive I need to run, I need to go out and make some money. So this is a pretty efficient way of doing it. As you can see, in one run with the Albatross, we can make essentially $175,000. If I really wanted to make huge money, I could take one of my tanker or barges out here and bring huge quantities of fuel and get a big chunk of that. But that takes a lot more time. So, hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next one.